Okay.
Do we have the
Has
staff
anybody-
in? Because they were trying to get in.
And Judy should be trying to get in too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, I just got your message, Jay.
Yeah.
So hopefully. And you usually get, the host gets a notification if somebody's waiting to get in, right?
Well, it should just let people in
Automatically.
automatically. Yeah, if they have the right link.
Oh, yeah, we don't have like a waiting room or anything, right?
But also-
Well, like we could, but we don't, so
Okay,
people
so
can
it's-
just
Huh.
come straight in. Let's see.
Okay, let's try the calendar.
I'm gonna click the link and see if it.
The quorum. The quorum.
Are you trying to?
7 out of 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we can't, I mean, if we know the staff are waiting
Yeah,
Waiting for
and
the
they
host.
can't get in, I don't think we
Yeah,
should start.
the link on the calendar is not working.
Yeah.
It gets me waiting for host.
So what you should do, did you take the link that you use, send it out to all the staff?
Let's see if we can
Do you have your Gmail, your email open?
Yeah, like
Because
I've got.
Jay just replied to them, but you can use that same one and say, this is the link
This is the
we're
right
in.
link, yeah.
Wonder how we can.
Yeah, or and then. So no. Invite people to meeting. Oh, share your screen. Hover over participants. Is there a share link there? Invite, copy invite link.
It's be a problem every meeting, FYI.
It's
unclear why.
every single.
It's unclear why. There seemed to be for some reason, and I must say, like in my Google Calendar, I have 3 WRT board meeting. And I've checked like the links, but I suspect they're all different.
Well, I wonder if
I think you should have chosen WORT.
it's because I gotta send the email. And so I've got to be
Oh.
able to get in.
Well, I know.
Senate report.
To report.
No. It just, there's
No,
like, yeah, but there's 5 people looking at this email right now,
Yeah, but they'll all be on reports.
I suppose.
You can copy, you can copy it in.
Oh, it's to the board anyway.
Well, yeah, just do it to.
Do it to that one.
Do it to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the, okay.
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
Just reply all. There you go. Reply all. Let's say use this link. Remind me, I know I heard you during the annual meeting, but what,
No, she wouldn't hear.
you weren't here.
No, I.
Okay, but then I heard a description or read it. What's your
Yeah.
brief little background
No.
related to WRT?
I've been here a year. I engineered the Thursday night news.
Got it. All right. All right.
Bill says, really, really had hoped we'd finally resolve this recurring issue.
Well, we hope that every time, don't we?
Yeah. Springs eternal.
It's been going on all year since I've been on the board, so it's a
Go
full
back-
year.
Okay, go back to the screen now to see if anybody's getting in.
I'll let you know in a second.
So we could copy and send it to reports too while we're. Oh, and in fact, maybe Phil.
Yeah, because if you just send it, because was Susan on that link? Was
Yeah,
Susan in
yeah.
the thread?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Susan's apparently in there, okay. Okay, so people are getting in. It's a message from Tom. Well, no.
Okay, so we've got
the
Doug.
Message from Tom was go back. There was a
Uh,
message from Tom.
Right.
Bottom right.
Oh, here.
Okay,
All right, doesn't
Fine.
matter. We're
Okay.
in. He's in. He's
Okay.
on the same one as
okay,
us.
go back to the screen, please.
Okay,
We'll figure this out. later.
well, and this one's the,
We hope.
whichever one does not work.
Maybe we should
Okay.
go
Every
to the
time we-
engineering committee.
Yeah, okay, apparently,
Our-
apparently we're now working. Everybody can, Susan and Tom and Doug hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Great.
very good. Okay.
Hooray.
Cooking with gas. Okay, then we'll call. the
Yeah, I
meeting.
can hear you just fine.
Okay, thank you. We apologize. Glad we got this straightened out. We'll have to try again, get it seamless next time. Always something to work forward to. A quorum is present. We'll call the meeting to order. Are there any requests to amend the agenda, or is it okay to be adopted as submitted? I've removed the reference to the audit report. The folks from Wegner are not available tonight, so they will be with us in August. We got a clean management letter, so that's good. And we'll get more details from them next month, but if there's no objection,
There's programming committee has a second action item, and just adding a new member.
okay,
So, yeah.
okay. Other than that, the agenda will be adopted as submitted. Any comments or requests for clarification on the June minutes? And can, without objection, they will stand as submitted. I have no communications for the public. Anybody know of anything on the public's mind? Hearing none. Presence report, just, every month I'm impressed by the staff reports. I mean, there's a lot of information in the staff reports. Some of them may have had a little too much information about some operational things, but I thought they're really useful, really helpful, and remind us what it takes to be running a radio station. So I commend them to your attention. And I appreciate staff's submitting them, and we're getting closer to them all being on time, which is a good thing. So thank you, staff, for those reports. And anything else I've got, there may be a little bit under the closed session. Two simple actions on that the executive committee took. We confirmed Jessica's appointment to the personnel committee and approved the expenditure you'll see as requested by Tom for equipment for Combo B. Moving on to the treasurer's report, we have a situation with the treasurer in that the press of professional and personal business is going to prevent Jessica from serving the full year as treasurer, which is really unfortunate because just judging from the first couple of weeks, she was obviously totally focused and great attention to detail, and she would have been an exceptional treasurer. And but you know, the pressures on her professionally and personally are such that it would exceed her bandwidth to really even ask her to do it. She's willing to stay on another month until we can come up with a reasonable alternative, but it's unfortunate because she would have been great. But we have to acknowledge, you know, people's lives take priority over people's volunteer activities. So if anybody knows anybody among us who would be a great treasurer, you've got a month to think about it. As I said, she's willing to stay on for now, but that's something we do need to address next month. In her absence, I don't know what, is there anybody else here from the finance committee?
I'm here and she sent her notes from that meeting
Yeah.
too, if we want to like go over, is it treasurer time?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna do this like item, but first off, I'll say, having sat in it, that this was a jovial meeting that she ran well. It was like, you know, this is the first meeting of like a new group. And it felt like that. I think there was a happy spirit that kind of went through it, and she was meeting most of the people in that room for the first time. We went over the numbers with Mary Joy from the last 2 months, and Mary Joy checked on reconciliations. They talked about what it was going to be like to go over and learn how to do reconciliations, which she seemed to be a little worried about. We talked about how the budget, how sort of like the declarative budget and the procedural budget do not always match, and how we do kind of like month by month accounting. And so the Doug, I think, does a better job at explaining this, but how the pay is broken up over the year makes it sometimes appear as if
Reviews and
Okay.
reconciliations is.
reviews, not rec. That's exactly. Doug should be. I should have had Doug do this part. But it was a good meeting. We talked about CPB
So I,
funds
just
about.
wanna- I don't mind you doing this, Dan, but Julia's on. So
Oh, good.
if
Here.
he has anything she wants to say,
Julia, were you at the
I mean, I see this is the meeting that Julia ran.
Jessica ran.
Jessica, I'm sorry, I'm
Jessica ran.
confused. My apologies.
I
Jessica.
have
Forget it.
joined, sorry, yeah, but I don't believe I ran a
No,
meeting,
no,
but
no,
I am
I'm
here.
mixing up my J's. My
good.
bad. My bad, and I'm even one of them.
Doug, is anything you want to say about or can share with us about the finance committee meeting?
Sure. I mean, in going through the numbers, we discussed a couple of inconsistencies between budget and actuals, and also versus last year, and explained why those variances occur. In both cases, it was a matter of accrual accounting versus actuals when we get the money type of thing, which we've seen before. They happen at different points of the year. It was basically getting Jessica up to speed on the financial processes, what we normally do in a finance committee meeting, how we do review the numbers on a monthly basis that Mary Joy provides. And it was pretty much just, letting her know that the job of treasurer really isn't that odious outside of running the meeting once a month, a week before the board meeting. It just involves doing that monthly review, which is a sampling of looking at transactions that Mary Joy has entered and just making sure that there's no anomalies found. The process, and I say this for those in the room who may want to be treasurer come August, it is about a half an hour of a month commitment each month to review the prior closed month, which will be 2 months prior. So that's basically what the treasurer does, and chairs the finance committee when we review the numbers and, and we go over the budget. The staff prepares the budget, and then the finance committee goes through it in detail to recommend it to the board. So that's another thing that will be coming up later this year. So that was pretty much the gist of the meeting, I would say.
And it's 10 samples, right, Doug? Do you remember how many it is?
Yeah, it's about 10. There is also a complete step-by-step instruction list that was prepared in conjunction with Wagner, our CPAs that do our audit. So what they want to see the treasurer do is completely listed step by step. And it involves like picking 10 checks that were written and making sure that they had full-time staff authorization. Things like that. It's very, all in all, very simple to do.
Thank you. Susan?
We also talked about the fact that last February, the board directed us to put money in a super savings account. That still hasn't happened. And there was
thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. I completely forgot that part.
So we discussed the fact that the amount that you recommended to us at that time might not necessarily be the amount that is best to do. So we are going one more month and next month with a chance to look over our finances and to get an idea even of things that we're partway through, because we're always a month behind, remember? So for now in July, you're getting the finances for May, not June. So we're going to look and make the decision and go back to, and you'll probably hear from us saying this is, if we can't transfer 200,000, we can do this much right now. Because there's a lot of money in restricted funds that wasn't there last February when you told us to do this. But I just want to note that we still haven't fulfilled that board directive. There was some confusion. We thought that Dave Devereux Weber was taking care of it. He thought that somebody else on the finance committee was taking care of it. So it just did not get done. So that's one thing that we put off for our August meeting. And I think that was, other than filling her in, I think that was the only thing I can remember right now of substance in the meeting.
When you say a different amount, more or less than the $50,000 that we had indicated.
We don't know until we take a look at it. I mean, we came up with the 200,000 after doing a lot of analysis, and it was all news to us in the meeting that this hadn't happened. We should have found it much more quickly by looking at the reports and realizing that there wasn't a betterments fund there, but one of the ones that was on there was the one that we thought the money had been transferred to. So only Dave was the only one that could have looked at those reports and realized that it wasn't on there.
Yeah, the real question is like, who is going to do the transaction? You know, and when it comes time and we decide that it's going to be 45,000 instead of 50, like which one of us is going to go?
Well, I
money in the bank.
assume I have to sign something. It's probably the president or the treasurer at some point.
It'd be you or the treasurer, and I
Yeah.
think it's going to be too off. I think she's nervous about that part. I think part of the walking away is feeling, you know, and I don't want to
Okay.
speak for her, but here the first thing is this big transaction.
Yeah.
And if it's
So-
you,
It wasn't the treasurer and some of the past stuff, Stu. It was Dave acting, you know, not as treasurer, but, you know, he was doing a lot of that stuff just because our treasurers weren't really able to fulfill all the parts of their job.
Well, yeah.
Two things. One, I've never been on a board of a nonprofit before, and I've been on many boards of nonprofit, never before where it was unknown who would make a transfer like that. And so it seems fundamental to me, beyond the fact of whether or not the transfer is made or not made, that not only is it clearly identified either by us as the board or by the finance committee at its next meeting with a name and or two names, if it needs to be two names. But I think equally important that something like this should never, ever happen, ever. And so that whether or not whoever does this transaction is the person and or people who would do it in the future, or at least for the term of this board, I'm not sure. It's not for me to say, but it is pretty obvious. And whether it's a combination of the collective and a volunteer board or whatever, because there's nobody who's in charge, that's why it happened, because there's nobody who's in charge. And it's very disturbing. And I say that as someone who, as far as I'm concerned, I take my fiduciary responsibility on the board. I'm not on the finance committee, but I have the same fiduciary responsibilities every single member of the board. And to hear this is just shocking to me. And I want to say one other thing related to the treasurer. It may well be, and I observed this somewhat with Dean, and certainly we lost a treasurer before Dean, a previous board member who left the entire board, that perhaps what we're asking the treasurer to do is just too much for most volunteers. And we could think about, there are ways, very common again in nonprofits, where the treasurer absolutely has the ultimate responsibility and certainly has, you know, reports on a variety of things to the board, serves on executive committee, et cetera, et cetera. But perhaps what we need to do, I would think primarily with staff, but perhaps with other board members, is that many of the functions that is making it not workable, daunting, et cetera, be fulfilled by others. And I don't know, because We've never had a good orientation where there are certain things in our bylaws that the treasurer must do, in which case, okay, fine. Unless and until we choose to change the bylaws, we need to stick with those. But beyond that, it's a functional thing. Let's make sure that we have a treasurer position for a volunteer. I'm going to keep saying that, that is doable, that someone can actually do it at least for a freaking year. I'm been on the board just over 12 months now, and we're by August going to have our fourth treasurer in roughly 13, 14 months.
I don't think the responsibilities are excessive. I mean, it's, you know, a half hour, an hour a month. And I think that Wegner, as our auditor, would probably have some guardrails to say, no, it's got to be a designated board officer to do this. But we do need to fix this. Yeah, Doug.
Just trying to unmute there. I'm sorry, but you just made my point for me, Stu, is that Wegner has indeed said it does need to be the board treasurer that does this as far as the reviews go. This is the fiduciary responsibility of the treasurer. It is not a lot of work. It is, like Stu said, a half an hour a month to do that. Regarding the transfers of money, it definitely is at the presidential level to transfer large sums of money. It's also a good practice to make sure that the keys to that money, especially since we're talking about moving it to an online banker, the username, passwords, all the information associated with that transfer needs to be kept with the bookkeeper, Mary Joy, so that future presidents can come in and control what's going on with that money. The reason that Dave did the last transfer is because he remained a member of the finance committee throughout the process, even after he was off the board. So Dave was a member of the committee the entire time. And honestly, we did not have treasurers with either the computer skills to be able to do it, or prior to that, we had treasurers that didn't show up. You can see back from minutes where we had months that we went without a finance committee meeting, and they didn't even show up to board meetings. So it was a very difficult situation at the time where that one transfer was made, and using Dave to make the transfer was the most appropriate way. Because although Susan and I are full-time staff members and reside on the finance committee, it is completely inappropriate for either of us to handle funds directly in that way. So it is something that does need to be done on the board level as far as large transfers of money like this, definitely at the presidential level. But there is also a way to make sure that, because boards are transient and change every year, that those keys reside back at the station with the bookkeeper for how to access those funds in the future. And I'll end with that.
I just hope we're not scaring Julia and Nicole. Yes, Susan.
I do want to say that in the past, and I don't want to tangle with you, Stu, about this, but in the past, the treasurers were not necessarily the head of the finance committee. And generally, we ran for some time with somebody that wasn't the new treasurer, because that's a lot of responsibility and they don't really know what's going on. And then at a certain point, when they are much more prepared and knowledgeable about things, we can turn that over to them. But Kai didn't show up for meetings, so that was a problem, you know, when things got busy. And then whatever her name was that quit, I've wiped it out of my head, that quit in October.
Ashley.
Ashley insisted that no one else could have any input into the agenda, and she was the only one that could. I mean, all these people that weren't aware of how to run meetings, that never asked for agenda items, that it was just a fiasco, and or telling us that they couldn't vote, we couldn't bring something to a vote because they hadn't familiarized themselves with it. Ashley said we couldn't transfer the money because she needed to look into it in a lot more detail, so we couldn't vote that we needed to do that. So I'm just suggesting that perhaps at some point we want to rescind that and say that
It's in the bylaw. It's in the
And then
bylaws.
bylaws can be changed. I'm just suggesting that next time, because that's what I have seen, not the month to month.
We've got a year to work through before we can get to that, Susan. The bylaws make the treasurer the chair of the finance committee for the next 11 months.
Well, then I would like to see whoever becomes treasurer have a mentor of someone that is already on the committee that can help them out by saying, this is how it works.
We can try that. Laura,
This discussion has kind of kickstarted an idea. When I first heard that we were going to be without a treasurer again, I said, no, not me. I've never been on a finance committee. I've approved, the reports and all. But it occurs to me that Dave and I have a good relationship. I can work with Dave and he could mentor me so that we can bridge. It seems like we have issues with having somebody on the board needing to represent, to fill this position.
would you trade your vice presidency for the treasurership?
I certainly would.
Okay.
Swapsies.
And as long as I can work with Dave and I can
Okay.
go to Dave's house and work with him, I'm sure Dave and I could work this out.
Let me ask, that's a very generous offer. Let me just ask staff and anybody else who would have an informed opinion on this. Is there any, is there any reason, is there any confidentiality or any fiduciary aspect of the role that would prevent Dave serving as in this mentorship capacity to Laura while she was the titular treasurer?
I don't think things can be taken to a home. I don't think that, I would hope that a lot of Laura that you're training, which in the past has always come from Mary Joy, the bookkeeper, continues to come from Mary Joy.
Sure.
Dave has not done the reconciliations before. Those weren't, so, as board president, that's not something you do. So I really would hope that you relied on, the people that are actually doing the work instead of someone that we're trying to ease out of doing things that aren't part of they're neither a board member, they're not the treasurer. And that's where a lot of confusion came from, because somebody was doing those things because a treasurer wasn't, but that person was not a board member or a treasurer. And to keep putting him in a key position is a problem to me.
That's a value judge. That's your opinion.
My opinion is that Mary Joy should be training the treasurer as the past treasurers before this year have been trained.
Thank you. Tom and Tom.
You're muted, Tom.
Tom. What?
Maybe he didn't mean to talk.
I'll go-
His hand
Okay,
up
yeah,
by
yeah.
mistake.
I'll go in the meanwhile.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I'm here. This ridiculous phone getting off mute. Two things. I agree with Susan that Mary Joy should probably be the trainer for much of this. But the other thing, just to allay any fears or concerns, Dave has now given the keys to the account that he had, because he had logins to everything, put him in a secure database called KeyPass. And right now I think it's just him and myself that have access to that particular access. And I guess the only reason I have it is because KeyPass doesn't allow multiple databases. So it had to all be put in along with all the passwords to like all our high-end servers, that sort of thing. So I don't know if that helps or hinders things. We do need something other than that to separate the technological passwords from the financial ones. But at least if Dave gets hit by a beer truck, we can get into these accounts.
KeyPass can be set up with multiple databases.
So can I make a suggestion, Laura? I think your offer also is very generous, but perhaps since it seems like at least Susan's suggestion, it seems reasonable, and we know from previous reports working with Mary Joy is key, that maybe you
There's
set
no
up a,
problem.
no, but maybe you just set up a meeting and get like oriented and decide, okay, this seems doable or it doesn't. And because I mean, again, if you feel confident, I bless you for doing it. Don't get me wrong.
Let me respond. I have no problem working with Mary Joy. I didn't know what options might be available, and this conversation has, when I was talking to Stu about it over the phone the other day, I just froze. It was like, oh my God, no. But now I see the options. I see paths to being able to do this, and certainly and here's the other thing. I'm just finishing up a big project with engineering. And so my schedule's going to open
more
up, and
time.
I think this is more doable because of that.
Do you want to make it happen now, or do you want to take some time, meet with Mary Joy and?
I think that's appropriate.
Okay.
Let me just add two other procedural things. One, I assume the board has to elect these
Yes,
officers. So that, I guess we'll put it on the agenda for
Yeah,
next meeting.
yeah.
I think, let me get it, the J right. Jessica should be asked whether it's simply a switch. That's one. Two, I believe under law, whether we want to do this or not, someone can serve as both vice president and treasurer, not president and treasurer, but vice president and treasurer. Or if Jessica does not want to do it, for whatever reason, maybe she doesn't have time for executive committee meetings.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would be willing to serve as vice president.
I appreciate that. I would note that would make 3 white males out of 4 on the, I would, but I appreciate
Just
the
putting it out there. I'm not
appreciate it.
running for office.
Yeah.
I have no problem not doing it. I'm just
More
putting it
options
out
are
there.
better than fewer.
Let's say for now, we're gonna, since I realize now I did not even put that on put election of officers on agenda, but we're talking about the treasurer. We're gonna keep the status quo for a month. You're gonna meet with Mary Joy. Doug, I'm sorry, Doug, yeah. So Doug,
Yeah, I was just going to offer to Laura that, in addition to Mary Joy, Dave is a great resource of information. And you also will have Susan, myself, and the
Yeah.
rest of the finance committee for any sort of advice or, that you might need. So,
Yep.
I would like to make it as easy as possible for you.
And I'm no stranger to working with the staff.
yeah. And
And I also appreciate your attention to detail because that is one of the things that is required. And you definitely have that.
and you obviously have no issues with technology.
No, that's
Which-
not an issue.
Which was an issue for Dean. I mean, Dean was,
Sure.
I was about to use the word flummoxed for the second time in one
It'd
evening.
be the third. It'd be the
Cannot
third.
do that, cannot do that. He was defeated by the technology is what he was. Okay, well, we really appreciate that. Yeah,
There are 2 more things from the committee. One of them is that Dean left the committee, so we don't have Dean as a committee member anymore. And the last one is important and relevant to the rest of the board. It's the air handler unit and the committee. We need a new air handler. Sometime between now and December, and the notes say here we have the money to pay. We have enough in reserves.
So is this Tom's proposal?
Tom's
Yes.
proposal.
well,
Okay.
let's go to Tom.
This is air conditioning.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
said air handling, mean air conditioning.
Need air conditioner. Tom will get
Yeah,
bid
yeah.
between
Okay.
now and
Okay. Well, then why don't we go to that? Why don't we go to the technology and facilities action item? Your action news team. Here's Tom Jones with a report.
Oh, good Lord, I should be in Milwaukee then, right?
No.
The 3 options were out there in the action item. While I would love to replace both units, I don't know that that's the best way to go right now. And so replacing the one that keeps breaking for what, I forget what it was, $10,792, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
And then and then keeping the old Fujitsu. If nothing else, just see how long it'll last. At least then we've got a good primary air conditioner out there and an iffy secondary, which hopefully we would not have to use for at least a couple of years. So, and then next year we can maybe budget to replace that Fujitsu.
And since this wasn't budgeted, where does the money come from?
It would have to come from reserves, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Susan
Yeah,
first.
Susan?
I just wanted to say, when we talked about this in the staff meeting, Tom did indicate that even if that first one, that brand new one, if we got a brand new one, even if that one went down, he could limp along, Tom, right, with having a unit that you could move around, a mobile air conditioner in there until we got someone else in there to replace
Well, it wouldn't be the optimum, because we're talking, you know, a $500 Home Depot air conditioning unit, and I don't know if I would trust it for very long, but conceivably yes, we could limp along with that. It'd be better than throwing the doors open on a 90-degree day.
I'm just saying, we were also concerned about the fact, how good is the backup if it's it's so old and stuff. But we did say there was at least one alternative to keep things running, and that's why the staff was okay with putting off replacing the Fujitsu. That's all I'm saying.
I just wanted to bring up that air conditioning for your transmitter is a mission critical operation. The reason that we lost our last transmitter was because it was forced to operate at temperatures above 100 degrees day after day because the AC failed us. So this is preventative. It's going to extend the life of our transmitter.
And there's enough in reserves we could pay if we wanted to. We have enough in reserves we could pay for both of them now and not bat a lash.
This is the very
Or we can-
definition of what the reserves are.
I'll
for.
make a motion
Yeah.
to accept Tom's recommendation to do point number 3 in his facilities action item.
I second.
Tom, just one suggestion, as a bureaucratic memo, you're supposed to put the preferred solution as B.
Because in multiple choice, it's always the one in the middle.
Always the one in the middle. Bill?
I just wanted to ask, since Laura brought up the mission critical aspect with regards to a transmitter, roughly speaking, I don't need an exact amount. What is the cost of replacing a transmitter?
The last
That's
one was
about-
15,000, right?
Yeah, it was north of 15, but under 20. Because hang on, I think it's about 35 overhead.
So we are talking about essentially safeguarding an investment equal to any investment that we do make with this air conditioning.
More.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We're-
that was all the clarification I wanted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tanya?
Can the old air conditioner be tested at the same time the new air conditioner is being replaced?
Oh, it's being tested right now. That's the only thing that's
Yeah.
running out there.
Okay. Just wondering, like, if there's any way to predict functionality for a certain amount of time, or I don't know.
I think I'd thrown that into the third option too, that maybe an extra $500 for them to go through the whole thing. If they could
Yeah.
find the freon leak, that would be great.
Mhm.
And hopefully extend the life of it a little bit more than it currently does.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that in the text of option
Yes.
C?
Mhm.
Yeah, you got it. Okay.
Did we,
No.
just for the minutes here, did we approve
I thought it was.
option A, B, or C?
You
It's gonna
didn't
be
take a
safe.
vote.
Or yeah, sorry, it's what's up for the motion.
Stu, it's in his last paragraph, but it's not in number 3. And I would certainly, I guess, offer a friendly amendment to do whatever reasonable maintenance, including, inspection or whatever of the Fujitsu while we have the people here. And if we can diagnose and or do a, what I would call routine repair of the Fujitsu to have it be more reliable into the future. That's a friendly amendment to number 3, which is not included there.
Does that give you enough specificity on how to deal with the techs when they come out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yay.
And
Okay.
I think Robert's rules, you seconded,
I
you
do.
have to accept my friendly amendment if
Well,
you.
Amendment, I accept.
Did you make the motion?
I
You
did.
did.
Making a friendly amendment to your own motion?
I am.
That's very good.
I'm just trying to move things along here.
We have a motion that is made and amended and seconded and accepted to adopt option C as extended to have Tom deal with the text to see if they can find the Freon leak at a reasonable expense and maybe make that even more functional. Any further discussion? Thank you for the staff work, Tom. All those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, time frame for this happening?
It's summer, depends what they have in stock.
Okay,
So no, when I last talked to Harker, they had quote unquote limited supply in stock subject to change. So who knows from
okay,
there.
The sooner you order, the sooner we'll get it.
okay.
Correct.
Thank you very much for the staff work on this. Anything else in your report while we got you?
Only that we have one more phase of the audio over IP project to do. And I don't think there'll be any additional expenses with that, which is good news. I think everyone froze on me.
I can still see you we can see you. You're not frozen.
The board is frozen.
The station on my end is frozen, though Tom, I can still see your camera there, but station looks frozen.
Yeah, ditto. Can y'all see me? Hello?
Yeah.
I can see Doug. Yep. Hello.
I can only half see you because I'm only one-eyed right now.
I think everyone's Zoom is working except the stations.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they just dropped off.
Oh, they left. Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably gonna have to come back in.
We'll reconnect.
Wee.
Fun.
Can I ask where I can access the agenda at, board agendas? I'm looking in the drive and I must be missing it.
You would look under board meeting information folder. And then that's split up by month and year.
Okay.
Is that within your shared drive? You should have
I'm not,
a shared drive that says board and staff.
I am not seeing it. Maybe I need to investigate that
Hey,
a little
Julia,
bit more.
you should have my drive shared with me, shared drives. Are you looking in shared drive?
Yep. Do I have to be on a computer for this? Can I do it via mobile?
Should
You
be
can,
able
but you have to be logged in with your WORT-FM.org email address to Google in order to see that.
Yep. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I'm looking in the shared drive under the WORT FM and I see the live radio letter and then email use policy from Shali.
I don't think you might be in the right place.
Okay. I'll keep digging around. Yeah, it sounds like maybe
Yeah, 'cause
I
that
am.
might be, that sounds like a shared with me section as opposed to something that says shared drives.
Yeah,
Shared drive. Okay.
And
Oh,
if
yeah.
you like kind of scroll to the right, there may be more to that menu.
Yeah, not
Like at
seeing
least that's how it
anything.
works on my phone.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I'll keep digging around and seeing if I can figure it out.
Yeah, let me see if I can try to send you a link quick. Hang on a second.
Yeah,
And
that would be cool.
you got switched to julia.mccanley@wordfm.org, right?
Yep, you bet. Yeah, so maybe something got shared with the old one or something like that.
Let me try to copy the link to the whole folder.
All right,
I'm
we're
going
back.
in right now.
Were you there the whole time when we were gone?
Yes.
Yep, we're
Did
here.
you get my email?
How weird. How very strange. Anyway, okay,
Our
All right.
computer needed to restart.
yeah, okay, well, did we vote?
Yes,
Yeah.
We voted, motion passed unanimously.
Okay, and then, okay,
you
so,
were asking Tom if you had
yeah,
more to report, and Tom was saying something about AOIP.
yeah. Tom, did you have anything else for us?
Only that the last phase of the audio over IP project should not cost us anything more.
Excellent. Yay. Have a party. Okay, thank you very much, Tom. Moving on then to Doug. Who wants us to sell tickets?
Yeah, and I wish I could be there. There are packs of tickets for sale in my office. If someone is actually there at the station. Can you hear me right now?
Yep. We
Yes.
can hear you.
Oh, good, because my Wi-Fi is getting a little wonky. Thanks, T-Mobile. On my desk are packs and a clipboard that you could sign your name out. I've got, I think, about 4 or 5 packs available right now. If anybody's interested, there's 30
I don't think
tickets.
there's any
each
staff
of them.
here. I don't think
It
there's
would-
anybody here with keys.
Oh, nobody's in the station right now?
I'm at the station. I can do it, Doug.
You got key?
Well, yes.
Is his
Oh.
office locked?
Well, there's a way that we know about
Okay.
with Doug's.
I'm
permission.
here
So,
too.
right, Dan, you know
Oh,
where the
Sybil, you're
spare key
here?
is,
Okay.
Dan.
Okay,
I
I'm here
do.
too.
okay, thanks.
Great.
Okay.
And also, if anybody's interested in a Wordstock t-shirt, they're beautiful and gorgeous and just $20. And there is a
Okay.
pile of them in my office as well on the wooden shelves. If you care to take a Wordstock t-shirt with you tonight, you can leave a 20 on my desk with a note and your name and what you got.
Okay. How'd the FET go?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't make it.
Okay.
We
Okay.
got rained out again. We had to pack up the tent and the
Yeah,
rain
it
was
It rained
stoking.
like hell both nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else
I
on
got-
your report you want to call to our attention? Okay, hang on a second. I'm gonna finish with Doug, then we'll, anything else, Doug, in your report you want to, highlight for us?
No, only that the financial report for CPB is done, and today they released the second part of our grant. So the electronic transfer, I got the notice today. So Mary Joy is watching it to hit our account, and that's about 32,000 and change. So
Nice.
that'll be a good boost for the summer.
Okay, let me ask you, in your staff liaison capacity, did staff have a chance to talk about the, Commonwealth request?
By email, we've been conversing about it. Staff seems to have a unanimous opinion that, and Susan today in an email put it quite eloquently that, we're a nonprofit and our donors don't really donate to us to see us give the money away to other nonprofits. This is why we have promotional exchanges. This is why they exist. This is what we have to offer fellow nonprofits is promotion. Beyond that, we really need to entrust our donor funds to our own efforts. And that is our unified position.
Okay,
Is there something you want to tell us? I don't know anything
Oh.
about a Commonwealth. anything.
Commonwealth Development.
I know what Commonwealth
yeah,
Development is, but I don't know.
No, that
what
was
the-
when Tony came last month and wanted money to sponsor a hole for a golf tournament for Commonwealth.
That's what the hole is.
That's the whole.
I didn't
Yeah.
understand.
There's lots of holes.
No, I read it in the report, but I
Okay.
didn't
Got it.
understand it.
Got it.
I wasn't at the last.
okay,
I would agree that it's
okay.
appropriate.
Okay, well, thank you,
No.
thank you. The delicate part is that, the request was made of us from a longtime volunteer. I mean, it was very clever of them to have Tony make the ask, but, I appreciate staff's strong position on that. Anything else, Doug, that you want to share with us?
No, and just to tail end on that, Tony wasn't really expecting a successful result out of that request. Anyway, he kind of knew it was a long shot.
Okay.
And we did offer the promotional exchange. It wasn't something that they were interested in. So I don't think he's going to be butthurt or anything like that.
Okay,
Dan?
That conversation's up on YouTube too. If anyone wants to see it, it's loaded. and you can
Okay.
Go
Dan?
Okay.
listen.
Is our camera on?
It was before.
No,
Oh.
we're just seeing the building.
Here we go. Wait. Thank you.
There we go.
Yay, you're there now.
Yes,
Yay.
Susan? You're muted. Your hand up, Susan.
Can we meet the new board member, or was that going to be part of this at all?
Hi.
There's two.
There's two. One's
I have-
on Zoom.
Can we meet?
Hello.
Can we meet both?
Nicole, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Nicole Alley. I've been with WORT probably a year today, maybe. I'm the Thursday engineer for news, so from 5 to 7. I was active in radio in college, which is why I started volunteering here. I served on other nonprofit boards, mostly in the theater realm in Milwaukee, and have done a lot of volunteer work since I could carry a spaghetti dinner plate as a 3-year-old. So that's why I ran, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to have you.
I missed, you said you were on the third news night. Does that mean you're on Wednesdays? What?
Oh,
Thursday.
Thursday, sorry.
Thursday.
Thursday nights.
Thank you.
Doing
Hello.
well.
I think I got my camera to turn on there. Sweet.
Thanks, Julia.
Hello, I'm Julia McCanley. I have been with WORT since November of 2023, so just last year. I have been involved in radio and in journalism for about 10 years, mostly in online magazines and with interviewing musicians and people of interest. For my WORT participation, I host Her Infinite Variety once a month, the Sunday show. And then I just recently started a new show every other Tuesday called Sound Effects. And yeah, for my everyday job, I am in technical content creation and communication and media. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for running. Thank you.
What show on Tuesday are you hosting?
Yeah, so it's called Sound Effects, and it is Tuesday from 8 to 11 p.m. The first and third Tuesdays, except that this month is wonky. So I'm hosting next Tuesday, a week from yesterday. Yeah.
Well, thank you and welcome. And then another terrible oversight on my part. I should have had that as part of the agenda. So thank you for calling that to my attention, Susan. Anything else you want to say? No. Okay. Well, thank you both for running and thank you both for being here. Susan, donor relations.
I have nothing. I realize I went way too far with talking about how.
Yeah.
It was thorough.
I tell you, sometimes I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning doing these things, and it all makes sense at that point. But I do want to make sure that if anyone has any questions about accrual or cash basis accounting, which is in your onboarding materials, that you let me know. I haven't filled in completely all of the stuff because, as I told Stu, I've been in too deep with it and I find that I leave things. So right now I'm sending all the financial onboarding materials to my social worker sister who can balance a checkbook and that's about it. And she sends them back to me full of questions. So it's not that I'm dumbing it down for the board members. I'm just making sure that I'm not putting it in ways. So is that document, the onboarding document, available to everyone, Stu, or is that right now just with staff members?
Available. It's in the board folder.
It's in the shared
It's in
board.
shared drive.
Okay, so the board members all know about it because there's tons of stuff in it already.
Yeah, I think everybody knows about it. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff in it. Okay, thank you. Any questions of Susan? Okay. Sybil, boy, you got a lot going on. New shows and everything.
What else is new?
Say
Like
what?
every new shows though.
So anything you want to call our attention to?
Not really. Tried to get it in there. I did mention in the chat that, it was something new to do a WORT DJ tent at the Marquette. And so we had 7 DJs in 7 hours, and they gave me $500 for the station.
Cool.
So that was nice, it's visibility and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know if you have any questions. Great.
Was it the first DJ tent or the first time we were in the DJ tent?
I think it was the first DJ tent. I don't
Well-
think they've done an all DJ tent before like that. I mean, they have the out of town DJs with the moon, Anchors thing, but that's not the same. So
Well,
Okay.
it is that is a DJ tent, just a different kind of DJ
Okay.
tent. It's not, there hasn't been a DJ tent from a radio station before.
Okay.
yeah, those are performers, like a DJ that you would pay to go
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
see DJ. That's different. Like,
Was it just on that one day?
yeah,
Okay.
and it was a lot of women and people of color, and it was
Um,
yeah.
Who should we thank at Wilmar for the invitation and the opportunity?
Gary from Wilmar, Gary Callis.
Okay.
Thank him. The one thing though, it was kind of a hassle. I mean, I know he gets busy, but I asked him over and over again. So what do we do? Do we get wristbands? Do we get drink tickets? Can I tell them that they can have some water and, a beer or two, like, for coming there, because people are like, well, we don't want, give the money to Ward, and, it's not what it was about anyway. And then when I get there later in the afternoon, I mean, even though I kept telling, he just said there's water and beer in the tent, and it was a bar that they had to pay for. So I was a little bit nonplussed by that, and I was trying to get him to give me some t-shirts or something to give them, because he didn't want me to give me any money to reimburse them. 5 of the people just apparently were not, bold enough to just go and ask for a free drink. The 2 that did got them. So I'm a little upset about that, but I need to talk to him about that. That can be totally separate. So Gary Callis, who runs the Wilmar Center, happy to share his email or whatever if you want. And I would love, I think we should, I hope he wants to do it again next year.
Was it well attended, Sybil, in terms of like, were there people who would come and listen?
Yeah, well, there's people in there. I mean, it was just, the weather was kind of weird, and it was Sunday, and they put us down way on the far end by the skate park.
Right, that's why I asked. It is far. I was all the way on one end.
Yeah.
I'm just curious whether, I mean, I know some people put a lot of effort into it, whether there was an audience for that.
Right. Well, I haven't talked to the people who were there earlier, and I didn't realize that he expected me to come at 12 and stay there all day or something to help take care of it. And I mean, I'm sorry, but I can't, I can't get my work done here too, and spend all day there. I mean, ask Gabriel and ask Aaron. But anyway, I don't know how it was earlier, but I do feel like the placement of things, I mean, it has to be further away from the stage, I know, but it's the same. Gary's in charge of Willie Street Fair, and we're like pushed all the way down at one end, like hidden from everywhere else. Or now we're going to be in the street, and we're going to have a small stage, and we get like as much money for the whole day as each of several acts get on the other stages. So basically what I'm saying is that we kind of get treated by them like the little adopted cousin or something, like there seems to be some sort of expectation that, well, if there weren't people there, it's because we didn't draw them there, but they're not really putting us in a very good position. And I don't know if they told Adrian that she had to put her tent there on the other side, but our WORT tent was like really, really out of the way. So yeah, it was kind of out of the way, and I wasn't real happy about that, but what am I going to do?
Well, I think the answer is if this is comes up again next year, then these things get, negotiated. And, we have a choice. If they say no, we're not going to change it at all. We can either go ahead and do it again or say, you know what, that's not satisfactory. Thanks for the invite, but we're not going to do it. Or hopefully we negotiate, better circumstances. I
Yeah.
saw where the WRT tent was, and I was hoping that at least on Sunday it would be moved over to where the DJs were, which would have made a whole lot of sense. But apparently that didn't happen.
No, and we were competing with all that too.
Right.
Yeah, but and I know Doug is still there. I tried to negotiate with Gary. I mean, he wasn't going to give us any money, anything. And we had to haul our equipment out there, and I mean, geez, I guess I should have, I would have bought people, I bought some people drinks out of my own pocket because I was shocked that there was nothing for them. And then he acted like I was trying to shake him down when I asked him about it. And I was like, I thought, he's like, oh, they should have just gone up there and asked. Well, why don't you just tell me that? So anyway, he's notoriously hard to negotiate with, right, Doug? So I did my best, but thank you.
Oh, I can definitely attest to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Sybil, my concern isn't at all that you didn't do everything you could to make it go well. I'm really thinking more about next year and whether or not it's really worth it, which is part of why I asked about the audience. And if there were 100 people listening on average throughout the day, I would say absolutely it was worth it. But if there were 10 and all the other, I'll use a little Yiddish, Soros you just described, I would say no, it's not worth it for $500.
Sybil, have you talked to the DJs yet? Did you have a report from
Yeah,
them?
I have not talked to all of them yet. I know there was, I would say 30 people there, when I stopped through, at least something like that, but it wasn't full. But I think there was like 30 to 50 people between 5 and 7. Yeah, and so there's that. And I will be speaking to the DJs to find out,
Let us know how that goes. Yeah.
whether
That's pretty consistent. Like that tent on Saturday had, 30 to 6. When it was raining and everyone had to hide under that tent, there were 60 people in there. So like and I wasn't there on Sunday, so I didn't see what it was like on that part. But it's not a bad stage. The crew went through a lot of stuff this weekend. We had to pack up and move everything in the middle of a storm for the second year in a row. And this year, none of the equipment broke. We didn't have to buy anything new. It just worked largely thanks to the Rory, the intern, saved the day. It was great.
Doug?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak to the whole idea of moving the tent over by the DJ booth. That actually was the intent. And we did negotiate that with Gary the week of LaFette. I actually texted him on Friday and asked him if we could move the tent Saturday night. The reason it couldn't happen was because we had a near tornado and everything was wet and like it was raining like hell at the end of LaFette. So they really had no chance to move it Saturday night like we intended when we had all the volunteers that could do it. The problem was the only people set for Sunday morning were Rory and Steve Ringwood. And there's no way that the two of them can move the entire WORT outreach booth by themselves. So it was unfortunate that the storm really is the thing that got in the way of those plans, because those plans were in place. Gary was all for it because we knew that that big orange WORT tent would draw everybody down toward the DJ booth. So it's unfortunate it couldn't happen, but I can attest, as some of my events this year have not gone as planned, that sometimes things just don't go as you planned for.
Thank you for that clarification or that additional information. That's good to know. Anything else, Sybil, you want to call to our attention in your report? I think these remotes are great. I think that's a good thing to be happening. Anything else you want to call to our report, our attention?
Nope, thanks.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Ms. Pittman, of course, is suffering through this evening in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I pity her. I pity her. I have covered Republican national conventions in the past, and Oh, they're terrifying.
I don't know how you keep your bile down.
Oh,
Oh,
it's,
they
it's,
do
it's,
say-
Huh?
they're
Yeah,
frightening.
this is
Um,
worse.
We're at about 1 hour, you guys.
Mhm.
So we're an hour into the meeting.
Okay. I'll stop talking. Anybody have any questions or comments on Shali's report? Seeing none. Aaron's report. Aaron's report is always so enthusiastic. Any comments or questions about anybody see about Aaron's report? That's good. Adrian's report. Any comments or questions about Adrian's report? Recruiting new receptionists at all? Nobody's any questions or comments about that? Okay. Anything on the engineering committee report? Everything good?
Plenty good.
All good?
Yeah, Tom, or is he gone now?
Who's there?
He's still there.
Everything. Okay, any comments or questions about engineering? Anything you want to add? Nothing? DEI?
Yeah, I kind of snuck that in. I got it done late this afternoon and let me pull it up.
It's what it says, we need access.
Oh, well, that's my fault. And we'll get you access later on. Maybe
Okay.
you can
Okay,
figure it
well,
out.
you want to highlight it for us or?
Yeah, so we began the meeting talking about one of the text comments that we had from the survey. We've been reviewing the survey that we administered, and that's been taking up most of our meetings. But there was one comment that we found particularly insightful, and so we discussed that. It's quoted in the report, and we'll make sure that you get that access, but it probably won't happen until after the meeting. In any event, it involves programming, and so we'd like to.
I'm gonna just jump in.
Yeah.
I just got the message on that when I tried to, was able to open up in a corner, and it said the reason I couldn't open it is it's in the trash. So it may have been inadvertently put into trash. And I think only whoever owns it can take it out.
All right, the reason I put it in the trash is because it ended up in the work group folder.
I'm just telling you what
We'll
happened.
look
I
at
don't
it
know what the
after.
right.
We'll look at it after.
Highlight, what was the
Yeah.
big issue?
Yep. It involves collaboration between shows. And we thought that was an interesting comment and one that was worth following up on. However, it's not our purview as a DEI committee, it's more programming.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to talk, we wanted to either have a representative of the program committee come to our meeting or something of that nature. So we're going to follow up on it.
What do you mean by collaboration between shows?
Should I read the comment? It's
Yeah, could you?
all right. This is in its entirety. I have found where, and by the way, this was on additional comments that. So I have found WORT's attempts at inclusion, diversity, and equity to be performative and not very deep or thoughtful. There is talk about being inclusive, but no action to make that happen. It would be helpful to have a system in place that fosters collaboration between shows, but the culture at WORT doesn't pay attention to this important piece of DEI, building relationships and understandings across difference. This is the kind of work that can change attitudes, but it takes time and follow through, and it must be set as a priority, so hopefully action follows. Although volunteers devote lots of time to the station, there is only so much we can do as volunteers to develop the structure for this. Putting such a system of collaboration in place is something that could, and I would argue should, be done by paid staff. I am very interested in what kind of action will occur after this survey. I am hopeful, but not optimistic that attitudes or behaviors will change much. So hopefully we'll prove them wrong on that, whoever this person is, this,
And
Yeah.
did they say what shows they wanted to collaborate together or offer a plan or?
no, what I've read is all there is. So,
This is an anonymous person.
yes, this was an anonymous survey. But we thought it was worth at least bringing up to the programming committee. And, as a DEI committee, we're kind of limited as to what we can do. Actually, let me continue with my report. I don't
Yeah.
think we should be discussing this here, but suffice to say that we want to bring this up before the committee.
Okay.
Let's see. And I'm going to write a little invitation to the programming committee to come to our next meeting. Doug offered to create some bar graphs, and there's a link to an unpublished page that's on our website. You'll see that when we finally get this straightened out, the report. And our survey was conceived as a baseline, and we discussed whether it informed any other actions that could be taken by the committee. But it's, like I say, it's a baseline survey. It really doesn't, it informs us of where we're at now, but really doesn't suggest an awful lot that we could do. So we spent the rest of the meeting talking about action items for the committee. We noted, let's see, Adrian has some notes that are from a previous meeting. She posted those to the rest of the committee. Some of these notes did have action items, and I think I summarized those later on. We did note that the recent board election brought an equal number of male and female board members. And we think that's the first time in any
Ever.
board. Yeah. So even though the DEI committee can't claim any responsibility for this, we think it's a good idea if the DEI makes sure that people know about this and spread the word around the station. Doug also offered an idea about developing and maintaining a resource list of organizations that serve underrepresented communities that WORT could use when hiring. And this might become part of our charter to maintain this list. I know we use these things, but I don't think there's a central list. And this could become part of our charter to maintain this list.
Okay, sure.
So that we're not reinventing the wheel with each.
I will look
hire.
back and see. I know we used it for the last 2 hires, so I will look back and see.
Shali does have a list like that she keeps current, supposedly.
Adrian and Doug were aware of that. So it's not that we just thought that could be one of the things that DEI could become a caretaker of.
Okay.
Like I say, we're looking for action items for the committee.
Just so you know, she's updating it every year for the Journalism Collaborative. So she's taking care that every year she expands that list based on contacting people to partner with for the Journalism Collaborative, just so you know.
All right. Music hires use that list, or how does that work?
Not aware, just know that it's out there. She shared it with me. I'm aware of it. I know there was one created for one of the hirings. We created one and contacted all the people on there for, I forget which hiring, and then Shali expanded on that list for the.
We'll investigate this.
Yeah, thank you, Susan.
And follow up. That was just one of the things we talked about. We also discussed some other action items, including growing the committee. The committee needs to grow. We're pretty young yet, and we've only had a few meetings. And we talked about the possibility of future surveys. We'd like to investigate barriers, real or perceived, that might hinder participation at WORT. And we wanted to prepare some kind of a report at the end of a year of existence to let people, to inform people as to, what we've accomplished or managed to accomplish. We're going to explore these at our next meeting in August.
And I think we have some new board members who may be interested in DEI involvement. So
I think we want to have, we want to get some volunteers involved. We want to get a broader sampling. Rather than, right now we have staff and board,
Okay.
and that's the extent of it. We only have 4 members, so we need to grow the committee.
Yeah, but I think, I'm not sure I'm hearing you say that, but if we have, I see Nicole nodding her head, yes. If we have a board member who's interested, you're not saying no, don't you?
No, definitely not.
I didn't think so, but I want to
All
make sure.
parties are welcome.
Great. Great.
But we just want to extend the invitation beyond, let people know.
Yes, Susan.
I just want to say, when we were a work group and we went out to find people to be on the committee, we did, we got interesting responses, at least enlightening for me, from a number of minority members who said, this isn't our work, this is your work. We don't need to do the work. So when you get a response that tells you something like in the survey, and you say, well, what solutions did they come up with? What did they say to do? I mean, part of what we heard from there was a reason that the work group was largely white. And it was because people turned us down and said, DEI work is your work. And we want to see what you guys are putting forward. So I just want you to know that that is also what the NFCB's group that I had suggested us joining, but we had a lot on the table, says the same thing. The board and the DEI work has to show that we are heavily invested in it before minorities are interested, because they do often feel it's performative. So they want to see something come out of it before. And I just want to let you know that we tried very hard to get members, but when we started hearing that from just about everyone, we realized that we had some work to do on letting people know that this wasn't a performative measure before they were willing to invest once again on helping white people understand what was going on. And I don't, I say white people, but I say, let's just say the dominant group here understand that. So I'll shut up now.
Sybil?
I was wondering if there were any thoughts, or if you would have on the agenda something I've suggested before that has to do with what many organizations are doing, which is making a statement on our website and somewhere in our materials about, well, you know what I'm talking about, the statement where, it may have to do with other resources, but specifically like say, we are on Ho Chunk land and we acknowledge that, and that, our resources and our possession of this land and so on were, rested on the backs of people that we took it from, or, enslaved. And so if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I mean, they do have it on a lot of organizational pages, and I have sent some examples as well, and I can do that again, but I think that would be great.
Yeah.
I actually would object to that. I think those statements are performative. Every time I hear that at, for example, the Overture Center or the meeting on campus, I want to scream out, oh, are you giving the land back? Because if you're not giving the land back, simply declaring that we took your land,
Kind of sucks.
it sucks.
It's an
So-
acknowledgement, but
Time out. Committee work. That's committee work.
all right, well, that's interesting.
Since
It's not something we're going to talk about on the spur of the moment at a board level. It's something for the committee to consider, because
All
that's
right.
what the committee exists for. Thank you for raising it, but we're not going to discuss it.
Yep.
we will discuss it at the committee. We're a new committee and have not received anything of this nature yet. So if you could forward that to me, I'll make sure it gets on the agenda.
Okay, anything else on DEI?
Nope, that's it.
Did we scare you off? Okay. Policies and bylaws continues its work on the volunteer handbook. Jay, anything you want to say about that?
No, I don't think so. We're making good progress and yeah, we're ahead of schedule.
Somebody, is there a hand up?
Sybil.
Yes, Sybil?
I think
that
all
was
hands.
last.
Okay,
Oh, dude, we've got some comments, starting with Doug from back
Okay.
at 721.
I can't read that.
Doug says it was an attempt to support Shally in that effort, so it's not squarely on her shoulders, ESP, especially with probable overtime implications.
Okay, what's that in relation to?
That was in relation to the committee taking on the work of keeping the master list of
Okay.
hiring hotspots.
Okay. And then what's the next comment?
Susan Sheldon at 725 said it was Diego who had the time to update the list. No worries about overtime.
Okay.
And Sybil at 726 says, yep, I just wanted to make a brief mention, not to have discussion here.
Okay,
Thank you.
fine, thank you. Okay, Personnel Committee, I'll give you some updates in a closed session after the meeting, at the end of the meeting. Programming Committee report, we do have some action items.
Yeah, we have two, so I'll start with the easy one. We have an application that the programming committee has, we've already voted yes on, Lucas Osmond, who has been a part of WRT for 30 years, has been a listener for 40, wants to be a part of the committee. He has great technical experience, and so we highly recommend that the board accept him as a member of the programming committee.
Move to accept them.
Yeah.
Second. So you're.
It's a committee recommendation. There's no move or second needed.
I was gonna let it slide.
What shows did he do?
Hang on. Oh yeah, that's a question. Yeah, what shows it?
Well, I think he currently does a show, but it's one of the overnight shows.
It's called Running with Scissors.
Yep.
Running with Scissors. What was he doing 30 years ago?
Great name.
Because that's a long time. And if he's got a 30-year-old show, we could go back to.
I only know since I've been here, since 2014, he's done Running with Scissors.
It's rolling.
Rolling, I'm sorry, because he's in a wheelchair, Rolling with Scissors.
But as to Doug's point, the minutes should not show.
I didn't type
It was not, there was no motion, it was the committee's. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. And the COVID, what you want?
Yes. So the second one, which you saw some emails exchanged about, certainly. So the programming committee would like to recommend that we rescind the ability for hosts to send in remote recordings. We rescinded a lot of our COVID policies over about a year ago at this point at the station. And so this is sort of the last vestige or, vestigial piece of that that hasn't gone away yet. And so we would just like the board to rescind. And, so I think the hours are 6 a.m. to 11 or 5 to 11. But I can read the
motions in the agenda as with the correct date.
Yes, yeah. We recommend that the board rescinds its COVID-19 policy on pre-recording music programs and reinstates the requirement that as of September 1st, 2024, all music programs airing from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. are to be produced live at the station, subject to exemptions authorized by the music director.
Sybil, Sybil's still here?
Sybil's gone.
Oh. Anybody, and that's the.
I believe she supported it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
I wanted it to happen
that's
sooner.
the programming committee's motion as I interpreted it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the programming committee's motion. And I had some text with Shally to clarify she is fine with this being exclusively relating to music programming, and she'll just deal with the existing status quo in her department.
Yeah, the shows this currently affects are music shows.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Doug.
Yeah, I just saw also a concern from Phil via email, and I wanted to assure him that this does not affect the access hour. The access hour is under Adrian's purview and not Sybil's, and it is not considered a music show.
I do appreciate that clarification. My overall objection, it still stands. I don't know, is anyone interested in hearing my reasoning?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course. yes.
Just essentially, I disagree. Let me start again. I believe that the allowances made for out of office work, essentially distance remote work during the pandemic, I believe that those were excellent improvements, and that the pandemic demonstrated very ably that people are able to work outside of traditional office environments. And I personally feel it's a step back to return to office. And I just think that this is a more inclusive way for people who want the flexibility and freedom to not have to come into a central location. I also absolutely understand that from a managerial perspective, and from the point Susan raised about the listenership appreciating the sort of messiness of live broadcast. I mean, Saturday Night Live has been on the air for almost as long as WORT, and people really like that aspect of tuning in just to see what might happen. So I am aware of all the arguments in favor of this proposal. I'm simply offering a counter perspective for why I am opposed to it.
Yeah,
As a programmer who's done both, because during the COVID lockdown, I had to learn, and it was very challenging for many of us. In fact, we lost some programmers who didn't want to take up the challenge to pre-record shows. But I actually think it helped me become a better programmer because I listened to my shows when they aired. However, I think what Phil's concerns fail to deal with is that one thing a pre-recorded show can never, ever, ever do is be current. It's always old. And it's rarely going to be old like just by a few hours, because in fact, that would pose logistical problems to have it uploaded and ready to go by then. In most cases, it's at least 1 to 2 days old. And whether it's, oh, I can't talk about the weather, I can't talk about a news that's breaking, that might be. And so that's, to me, the biggest thing that we lose when we pre-record. But most importantly at all, this allows Civil to make exceptions. And whether it's due, you talk about inclusion, someone's ill, someone's has a disability, other reasons why it may be difficult for them to appear live. I'm quite confident that Civil will exercise appropriate discretion as music director and allow those to occur. As we have the technology, we know it can work. I don't think we're just going to ditch it completely, but I also believe, and I've heard this from Sybil, that she believes there are some DJs who, let's put it this way, are using it as a crutch and not for inclusive purposes, but just because they just don't feel like coming in. And I don't think the trade-off between an actual live show that's current, responsive to whatever's going on, versus just don't feel like coming in is a good trade-off. And so I will certainly vote to approve this proposal.
Julia, as a programmer, do you have any thoughts on this?
So I would, you know what, as a programmer who has never had a pre-recorded show and has only ever hosted live, I would agree with the dissenting opinion a little bit here. I think that returning to live. I think the idea of returning is something to look into a little bit more, and that maybe there's a balance that we could find. Maybe that we could have some sort of allowance as the expectation for everyone to have one recorded session at some point, or maybe get more visibility on the evergreen from show to show. Like, that's a new thing for me. I didn't know that that was an option as well. So we could maybe lean on that too. But I do think the idea of return to work that Phil had raised is something to be mindful about, because it does feel like an antiquated way to think. So I think we just would want to be careful about an overall rescinding of this. I just think there's a little bit, yeah, I think it's a little more sensitive than that.
Using staff, well, this is a board discussion. So when we're done, we will see your staff as further comments as a board discussion. Laura and then Jay.
I wanted to, I think what we should do, let's cut to the chase here, is rescind this. And then, because it was done at a time of crisis, it was done for COVID purposes. Right now, we can rescind this and rewrite it in a way that is more forward-looking and meets the situation as it stands. I think we can take Phil's concerns into into our thoughts when we reformulate of the possibility, and certainly Sybil should be a part of that discussion. But I like the idea. I mean, community radio to me, or at least WORT, has always been live radio. It has, I mean, this is part of the community thing. People call in all the time expecting there to be someone answering phones. It's not the way most radio stations operate these days, but I think that makes it special.
Jay?
Yeah, I was just gonna comment because I'm 100% in the camp of, like, if you can work from home, you work from home, because I have one of those office jobs that I'm in front of a computer working 95% of the time, and the meetings that I have, they can be handled via Zoom. WRT, live radio, that's different. That's very different than your typical 9 to 5 office job that can be handled completely remotely. Because yeah, I was upset when my personal employer brought me back into the office, as I didn't see why. But WRT, again, doesn't personally affect me, but I see there are legitimate benefits that have been brought up by many staff members, including reducing like the weight on them and what they have to do, because there's a lot of times where the programmers in question that this does affect are sending in shows very last minute, or not able to send in shows. And specifically, we would much rather them find a live substitute than send in a pre-recorded program. And those efforts aren't being made either. So just a little bit more from my personal perspective, and I think the programming committee as well.
Jeff and then Doug.
I want to say, support what Jay just said. This isn't even comparable to returning to work. It would be as if a meeting was scheduled from 9 to noon and you somehow thought you could participate by logging on 24 hours before. You can't do that. That's not participating remotely. It's just actually not participating. And so you're comparing apples and oranges. But if there were a way, and maybe there are, but I think it would be expensive and difficult technically to actually do live shows from home, then would be talking potentially apples and apples. And if that day comes, it would be an interesting conversation to see, and it might get to the inclusion part that you're talking about, Phil. But I don't believe we're there yet.
Doug and then Dan.
Sure, not to pile on too much. Like one of the complications of pre-recording a show is a lot of hosts don't insert their own promos. that it adds extra time that Aaron has to go in afterwards or Sybil to insert the proper promos into that show, causing extra staff time because then the whole thing has to be re-ripped down into MP3 again. The other reason is some of the technological advances that we're making at WORT involve live blogging with the host on our website during their show. FRP is already taking advantage of that. And especially during the day, you not only lose that, you lose the ability to announce upcoming calendar events that may have just been announced. So if something just gets announced like within the last day or two, you've already prepared a calendar of events that doesn't include that. So those are just a couple of the immediate reasons why I completely agree with this proposal to rescind.
Dan and then Laura.
Do we have the language of the
Yes.
COVID-19 era policy? We're rescinding some policy. What's the language of what we're about to rescind?
I would
We
like to
don't-
know about that as well, the language of it.
So the motion's in the.
Yeah, no.
But yeah,
I see the motion.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Do you remember the original?
I wasn't here,
wasn't here.
but and also I could.
Well, I mean, it would have,
That's why I think we should rewrite it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if we got-
I would agree with that.
I like
would
this
support
idea, but I don't
rewriting
know
it.
if we got enough to like decide right now. I don't feel like I
no,
got
no,
enough.
we have enough to, the substance of the policy was that we were allowing programmers unfettered right to pre-record their show.
I think it goes further because there was a period
Well, there's
during
a period when we
15-month
were-
lockdown, we mandated.
Right,
It
right.
was a whole nother
And-
era. And
yeah,
that's the point I
yeah.
think Laura made so well, that this is an antiquated policy, period.
Yeah.
We can and
But-
should have, based on this conversation, a discussion about, is there some other remote policy we might have that has nothing to do with public health or the station literally being locked down?
The practical reality is that there's an existing policy that gives programmers the right to do their shows remotely, which program committee and the music director want rescinded and reinstate what was reality before March of 2020.
As
Which was
a
that you did your
bonus.
shows. I mean, it wasn't even a concept.
Yeah.
Of course you did your shows in the station. Yeah, I don't know. Susan notes that the COVID task force notes may indicate what that was.
It's one of the board staff folders. I'm looking at it right now.
Sure.
Okay,
COVID task force notes.
yeah, as a practical reality, do we need to, I mean, if people want us to track down what the text of it was, we can do that, but it was, I mean, the functional reality was, first of all, you can't do your show in the station, and then it was, okay, you can do your show in the station, but you don't have to. And now we're going back to, you have to unless civil says, okay, otherwise.
I would also, someone made a comment about some people are pre-recording instead of getting a sub, and I've got that option. I'm going to be gone tomorrow and the next week. I consciously don't take advantage of that option for two reasons. And one, by the way, is a diversity reason. I get it. I'm a white male. Well, my next two hosts are not white males. And they're also people who don't get to do shows very often. And so it expands not only the live ability, instead of me just pre-recording my own show, it gives more diverse programming to the station. And I think that's very important. I came in to having my own show as a sub for decades, literally. And that is a very good entree to people eventually having their own shows here, and helps, I believe, with diversity. Or can, depending on the subs you ask, but I do actually think about that. So I think it's another reason to rescind this policy.
Would this have been, Susan, would this have been in board minutes from 2020, Susan or Doug? Would this have been in board minutes from 2020?
I think so. I think that I was part of the COVID task force, and I know we presented it to the board and you guys approved the whole different parts of the policy. There were so many parts to it. Remember, it was about masks.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in a 2020 folder, and it would have been somewhere around April.
April.
Yeah.
May at the
April,
absolute latest, because the first cases were hitting in March of 2020.
But she
And I
proposed
know we
changes for
responded
volunteer
soon
handbook.
after. I think the lockdown was at the end of March, beginning of April of
Was there-
2020.
Was there any kind of sunset written into the
No.
policy?
No,
Because we didn't know when it would.
We had
No.
we had no idea. We didn't write anything in there.
We've done it as a piecemeal because we've done things like we did the mask, we did the station, first we did the station opening, and then it was a masking, and we've kind of
But we
taken
didn't
one.
say anything like when the Department of Health rescinds their order or something like that.
No, in
We
fact,
didn't
we
write
kept the
that.
masking much longer than the
So
Department of Health did.
it's all in effect. We need to rescind all of that, don't we?
We asked you guys to rescind a different part of it. That was a while ago. We asked for part of it to be rescinded.
It
And that
certainly,
was the masking. That was the masking part of it. That had
which
been
we did.
rescinded already.
yeah.
And the committee, the
Doug, by the
committee's
way, put a
recommendation.
note
was
of that
amended.
Bill K has fan posts from subbing Tuesday AM, and I saw some of those posts. People were really thrilled with his show. I believe it was his first show, and it's because he subbed instead of the host. I think it was Brian has that show, doing a pre-recorded show, and Brian's a great host, and I think it was a great opportunity. It was his first show ever. It's fantastic.
It was, and Bill was so jazzed to do it. I mean, it was so
Sure.
good to be in the station with him Tuesday morning. He was
Yeah.
so excited. And he's a former receptionist from Wednesday evenings. In fact, he was the receptionist when I did Query. So, the history there.
I've gone all the way up to the June minutes of 2020. I'm not finding the text of, but
Did
I
you
mean,
look at March?
I looked at, well, wouldn't it? I mean, you think we were that on top of it?
I think we were that
Posted-
responsive and quick about it
Station
because
closing.
March was rough.
We're stopping volunteer programming from station effective March 24th.
Yep.
There you go.
My employer did it a week earlier.
2020?
Yeah.
2020, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at the same. That's pretty much some things. Yeah.
I don't even know
My
if there's
computer
anything
home
more
and I never
formal
went
than that. But yeah, Phil?
Just as a practical matter, WORT doesn't have a policy. The WORT Board of Directors, like, things don't have to be approved unanimously, do they?
No.
So yeah, no, I'm very comfortable with dissent.
But yeah.
So-
Although I will tell you, that the board long time ago, the board did operate by consensus. And the reason we did not move into the Civic Center was that once one board member refused to give consensus to the lease at its final approval, and the deal fell apart. But if we had operated by majority vote instead of consensus, we would have moved into the Civic Center in 1983.
Long time ago.
Well,
And wouldn't have a home now.
You wouldn't have a home now.
we
And
don't
we,
have a home now.
yeah.
This is what, yes.
Um,
So this is what
Maybe we'd be in the
consensus-
overture.
oh my God, we did our staff meeting today. I can't even tell you guys.
Yes.
It's actually been
Uh,
moved. That's the matter of calling the question.
Did we satisfy the questions about about the existing policy
I'm getting ready for their own day.
Yeah, it's hard.
that we're rescinding?
Yeah, for me, I'd say so. And I mean, I would vote to rescind. I just think we need to be mindful of how we're communicating it to existing folks and what expectations we're setting, not only for current programmers, but really thinking of those ahead. I know there's a lot of speak of only 4 shows, but really what I'm thinking of is it should be expectations set for all shows. So that's really something to think about. Also, going back to prior pandemic, there is no going back. It's a different world that we live in now. So just how we communicate it, I think we want to find a good voice for that. But I'm happy to support and happy to help that. But
And let's think about what kind of policy we want to put in place moving forward. And maybe we want to rewrite this in some way that considers and leaves options open for places that, things that we might not even be thinking
It
about
sounds
right
like
now.
a suggestion for the programming committee
Yeah.
to discuss and bring back if they have other ideas for some of the, I mean, good things have been brought up
Yeah.
today.
Mhm.
It's not like we shouldn't be thinking forward, but
Interruptive
Yes,
communication
Susan?
policy.
I just want to say that Sybil, for how many years, I don't know how long she's been music director, has been having a policy of approving tape shows, approving, substitutes and stuff. And I'm not understanding, if we take this down, why the board feels that Sybil needs instructions on how to do this. I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm just genuinely curious as to what direction Sybil needs.
Okay,
What are you saying about putting policies in place about how this is going to be administered? Am I misinterpreting what's being said?
nobody said policies need to be put in place. I think Julia made a suggestion about being mindful of how it's communicated, and I think that's always appropriate. But the motion is the committee's motion, which is pretty simple.
Which was at the request of the music director.
Right, and I'm fine. I'm totally in favor of the motion. I just thought during the discussion there was something about policies around this or anything. So that was my error. I apologize.
I did use that language, and what I was thinking, what was in my mind was a policy that gives Sybil, the option. I didn't want to restrict what she was able to do, but I wanted to make sure that she had options in front of her. Unless, right now it seems like rescinding this policy gives her more freedom to run her department. So that's what I was thinking.
Okay, that's what I heard. Thank you.
I'd like to call a question.
Okay,
Yes, please.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed- Whoa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed?
They have it.
Oh, sorry. Phil, did you vote no?
I'm going to abstain.
I
Okay.
vote in favor.
Thank you, Julia. Okay. That was good discussion.
I would like to point out quickly that we may be doing video streaming in
Yeah.
the future.
Mhm.
Think of, the ramifications there about people, phoning it in.
Okay, thank you, programming committee, elections committee has anything? Is there a reason? Nothing from elections committee. Nothing from mural, old business.
Anything from CAB?
Anything
They're on
from
break.
CAB?
Get on break, okay?
I'm sorry?
They're
Yeah,
on
sorry.
break,
Oh,
Lisa.
yeah. Well,
Oh, wait, except who is the new board liaison to the CAB? It used to be
Oh.
Dean.
I was not aware that had to be done. Thank you for calling. Thank you.
Yeah, also in addition is committee assignments on the slate for tonight.
Officially, no, we're gonna talk about it.
Oh, cool. And then maybe formalized by August.
Yeah,
Okay.
it should have been, yeah.
CAB, we should probably have someone sooner rather than later.
You want to briefly explain what? Right?
Yeah, I can, since this is a requirement of the CPB. And for new board members, I'm Doug Holtz, the Business Development Director. I manage the CPB grant and all of the associated requirements associated with it, which are many. And one of them is that our station has a CAB. The CAB is a community advisory board. It's comprised of people who do not have an official affiliation with the station. Many are donors. They're all certainly listeners. And what their job is basically is to recommend to the board or even just kind of monitor WORT's activities as a whole to make sure that we're representing the community in all aspects of it. At times, they may give recommendations to the board on certain actions. They may disagree with certain policies that the board enacts. They do not have any sort of vote or anything like that. They're strictly an advisory board. There is a member of the staff collective that is the staff liaison, and that's Adrian Ranney. And then there's also a board liaison. And really all it is reporting to the meetings, which don't occur in the summer. I believe they take place between September and May. And you attend the meetings and then report to the board of any recommendations that the CAB may have had.
You know, Doug, if the meetings are happening in person or virtually?
I believe they're virtual at this point.
Depending on the schedule, oh, you want to do it?
I can do it.
Okay, great.
I want to do DEI too, so I think that would marry well together.
Get in there.
making sure that-
Oh, I think that's a fantastic idea. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. Does anyone have a parliamentary objection to our confirming Nicole to the CAB?
No,
Then,
or even a non-parliament.
well,
Yeah.
no,
We mean because it's not on the agenda?
yeah,
We can't put it under old business. Can we put it under new business? We
It
can
would be under new, yeah.
just consider it under new
okay,
business.
okay, good. Okay,
Okay.
I apologize for that. I should have had it on there.
How do we, is this a presidential appointment?
Is it? I'm not sure if it's,
I thought aren't all committee,
yeah, confirmed. Yeah, I'm appointing Nicole Ali to the CAB, and motions for the board to approve it, to confirm that appointment.
A second.
Thank you. Your last vice presidential act.
Whatever.
oh, you don't have to be vice
Who
president.
is the second motion?
How do you spell your last name, please?
Back to the motion. Yeah.
ALLEE.
ALL. All right.
Oh, making me sad. I can't drive right now, or I'd be there laughing with you all in person.
I know.
And eating chocolate.
Yeah, Tanya brought lots of chocolate.
Okay.
There is lots of chocolate.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Congratulations. And you also have an interest in being on DEI.
Yeah.
Julia, have you had a chance to think about the committees that you might be interested in?
Yeah, I would like to be involved in DEI. It sounds like programming committee might have a queue of folks lined up.
Well, I think we've got a vacancy, we have a
Yeah,
vacancy
yeah,
for one.
we have one
Okay.
vacancy.
I would love to be out on that as well. Yes. And
Okay.
yeah, future of WORT task force as well. I would like to be on.
And maybe someday if we revive the social media committee.
Absolutely. Yep, you bet.
Okay, do you think the DEI and CAB are
Yeah.
enough for you?
I think so.
Okay,
Elections is still down one.
okay, yes, Susan?
I just wanted to mention, because Aaron isn't here, that the 50th birthday is meeting again this coming Monday for anyone that's interested. And at this point, we are actually saying, claim this idea or we're dropping it. So
That's a week from Monday, Susan.
I'm sorry, a week from Monday, correct.
We've
So I
got
just-
a list. Yeah, so we've got a list of projects basically.
I see.
And so we want,
Yeah.
we've got like more than we can,
Got it. So we're trying to
Handle.
winnow,
yeah.
lift and winnow.
And we're also trying to find a way to organize it,
Sure.
like some sort of
Got it.
project.
Got it.
Software,
Okay.
planning software.
So Susan is saying we need more board buy-in on this?
No, I'm saying that if you are one of the people that has an idea that you haven't
okay.
submitted, and you're not willing to be a part of it, there's a good chance it's not going to happen, because it needs to get on the schedule now if we hope to accomplish some of this stuff.
Okay, yeah, so we've got that as well. So for Julia, we've got programming and DEI and the future.
Yep.
And for Nicole, we've got CAB and DEI.
I can do elections too. So
Oh.
that was only once a year. Sort of
Yeah.
thing.
As needed.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that till next spring.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
is somebody, yeah.
Throw me on there.
Okay,
Okay.
and, okay, are you writing this down?
I'm gonna, can I just throw that on the end of what we?
Yeah, yeah,
New
yeah.
business.
Okay, cool.
Huh?
Yeah,
No, no, yeah, I'm just, okay.
No, he's
Um,
asking where to put it.
Yeah, are all other board members, good with their current appointments and their involvement?
I'm assuming, Stu, you had, as far as personnel committee goes, you had thrown out via email the possibility of changing the chair. I assumed we were gonna talk about that at a personnel.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
committee
yeah, yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right,
you are still chair until we have
Right,
that
right,
meeting
right.
and the committee will
right,
discuss
right,
it.
right, right, right.
Got it.
And the executive committee, as noted, has confirmed, my appointment of Jessica to personnel, which, maxes that out at 5. So if everybody else is good with their existing appointments, so it's Julia to social media, DEI and the future. It's Nicole to CAB, DEI and elections.
And
And-
programming for me as well.
Oh, sorry, and programming.
Thanks.
That it?
Julia, you're on programming. Sorry, that took me a second.
Yep, you bet. Thanks.
Julia, did you say you wanted to be on DEI?
Yes, I would. Yes, very much so.
Annually.
Yeah.
So, okay, I just want to make sure I see you. Two
Okay.
more members.
Yeah, okay, then, you second that, the whole list,
Which
the
list?
whole list of what I've done. all the-
Everything we
all
just
the-
decided,
The
basically.
omnibus appointments.
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion on that? This will be great. I think this is gonna be a really good board. I'm excited about it. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you for that. I don't think we need to talk about anything else. Anybody got anything else they want to talk about? Well, next month, let's start seeing if we have ideas on this, how to organize the task force on this future, see if that's going to be a meaningful program. And maybe at some point we'll talk about a board staff retreat after the new people have been on for maybe 6 months or so. Maybe we'll look at a retreat come January, February.
After the holidays.
I will just put out there, as I have before,
Yeah.
that the only way this ever gets done, and the reason why it
Yeah.
didn't get done last year, is regardless of anything else, agenda,
Yeah.
and facilitator, we get a date
Yeah,
on
yeah,
people's
yeah,
calendar.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you're suggesting January, which is fine by me, and should be far enough ahead that it
Yeah.
should not be that hard to find a date,
Mhm.
that we do that as soon as possible. Everybody gets it on their calendar. They understand that short of life or limb, they go, they're committed to it. And then we do the planning to, hopefully make it a very worthwhile experience.
I was just trying to pick a time frame at this point.
Yeah.
Phil,
I just wanted to clarify whether there has been any meetings on the
hang on just
Ward-
one.
Hold
the
on,
WORT task force or
Phil,
WORT.
Phil, hang on.
hold.
I'm trying to play the RNC live coverage, but it's buffering a lot and I'm not sure what to do. It just keeps jumping
Let me
and
see if I
skipping
can
and
help.
pausing. Thank you, I'm sorry.
No,
Thank you so much.
Sorry, Phil, we had the person who was engineering the RNC feed
Yeah.
come in with a problem.
RNC.
okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Phil.
Has there been a formal committee for either the WORT 50th anniversary or the WORT Future of WORT task force? Those are
There
two
are-
separate efforts, correct?
There are 2 task forces, yes, or work
And-
groups.
and-
The 50th is a work group, the future is a task force.
And have either of those had meetings already?
Yes. Multiple.
Were there were there invites that I have missed, or how
Well,
how
the-
would
the-
one
the-
go
the-
about finding about that?
I misspoke. The futures group has not met, but the 50th birthday group has met probably 4 times, maybe. If Aaron, did you communicate to Aaron that you were interested in it?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Okay.
So that may be the problem.
Okay, yeah, drop Aaron a note. He'd love to have you.
Okay, thank you.
And are you interested also in working then on the task force?
The future of WRT, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, okay. So that's something that we'll talk about next month and well, just as a concept, does January sound like a reasonable time frame to work towards scheduling this? I mean, I think having the
Sure.
retreat
Yes.
is an important thing for us to do. Okay, Doug, does that sound reasonable to you to look at that as a time frame for finally making this happen?
For making what happen?
The
I'm
board
sorry.
staff retreat.
In January.
Oh, that thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we've been talking about that a while. We should do it, huh?
Yeah,
Sir, I'm sorry, what was the time frame again? We had talked about a time frame earlier.
January.
January. Yeah, but then the budget will be approved. I mean, it's okay for me.
Or February would be okay.
It's after the holidays. It's enough time. It's long enough
And
away.
it's long enough before winter pledge drive too, because post end of year is probably better because the end of the year is just absolute
No,
nightmare.
we don't
for
want to do
season.
December.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you and I will be the respective point people to try and pull this together.
Sure, I'm fine with that. And also in the meantime, since Laura's gone, and since the DEI report is unshareable at this point in the chat, I did put the survey result graphs that I made this week from the DEI survey that was instituted. I guess it'll be a little hard to see them since you're all in the same room, but the link is there in case you're interested.
Okay, thank you.
I can also share it via email too. Why don't I just?
Okay. Thank you.
And that's it.
Okay, Susan, yes?
I'm just hoping that maybe the staff has a chance to talk about a time in the next maybe staff meeting for a retreat, because the very first week of January is horrible for me. And the once you get into February at all, it's horrible because the pledge drive is going to happen and I'm focused all hours on that. So,
Okay, then we won't set a time frame now. We'll just say TBD.
but maybe maybe Doug can come back in August and say this is what works for all the staff members.
That's fine. Fine.
Because the second
Past yes, Susan.
bye.
Arguing past yes.
Okay, so I've lost my screen. Okay, that's anybody have anything else before we have a brief closed session? Okay.
Regarding committees, what are next steps for committee information? Should I just keep an eye out for invites or?
Yeah, I'll reach out to you with information about programming at least.
Awesome.
And Laura
And Laura will send the link out for DEI. We're also meeting virtually for all DEI meetings at this point. The committee members in addition are Phil, myself, and Adrian and Laura at this point. So you have greatly increased the size of our committee. So thank you both.
Yep.
Yes, Susan.
The committee head should just let Tom know who the names are. He adds them to the list for that committee then, so they receive the notifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
Okay, thank you.
We good?
Yeah.
Laura. Good thing we're having a board meeting live. Yeah.
Okay, so on that happy note, a motion to go into closed session, to discuss personnel matters. No, make the motion.
Motion to go into closed
Yeah.
session.
Second.
All those, roll call, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Aye.
okay, thank you, Doug and Susan. We're gonna have to excuse you now.
Thank you.
Susan, did you have something else to say?
I'm sorry, you see that thing that Jeff has in front of him, that water bottle, water thing? Anyone on the board that didn't get one of those, you all should have gotten one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So-
I don't have one.
Stop downstairs after you're in closed session and I will get one to you, okay? That's
Okay.
it, I'm out.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Say only
Here, but that's-
5-6 months ago that we started board meetings back.
Yeah.
And
It was
I'm
like-
really glad.
It was
that we
February, I
have-
think. It
I
was
really wasn't-
January, it was.
We need
Person.
to stop the recording.
Stop the recording, yeah.
Bear
At
with
the
me.
top
Up at the top.
by recording, press the stop
By
button.
recording, you're kidding me.